Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. We have so much goodness today. Type in where you're from. We love to see that. I'm excited that we will have our special guest, but before I introduce her, I want to tell you that we will be doing a giveaway at the end of this wonderful Sarah Walsh product of glittery bead kind of thing. And also, our guest will be giving away a gorgeous print of her work, so we will have that. Type in where you are. Oh, I'm starting to see, that's good. And I want to tell you all, I know so many of you are students in my classes and Matt's students. The spring sale starts today. It is an amazing deal and they want me to be sure I tell you all about it. And you can download this nifty PDF that explains everything. And it even has one of my worksheets in there. Actually, I have I think 3 worksheets in there, which are really good for you to help think about where you want to go with your art career. I hope you enjoyed them. So enough about that. I'm so excited today to introduce you and chat with one of our newest artists, Tisha Lee. So Tisha, if you want to pop on in, we would love to see you. Oh, there she is in my favorite color, one of. So we are so glad. Tisha has been on with us just very recently, and I would love to tell you a bit about her. She has an incredible style that you're going to see. You're going to see a bunch of pages of her work. It's a really evolved style, very sophisticated style. I'm going to ask her in a bit how she evolved her style, how she got to it. Hey, Riley, good to see Riley and Seka and Martina and Kay and Jennifer and Nita, so many people. We will have time probably for questions, so put your questions in the Q&A. Lydia, that's a question about ICB. That's a question for Louise at hello@makeartthatsells.com. Any questions that are about, payment or specificity. Okay, so Tisha, where do you live?
I live in Sacramento, California, so kind of like northern central California.
And what is that like? Is it rural? Is it a small town?
No, it's a decent sized city. Sacramento is like it's just north of San Francisco, northeast of San Francisco. But it's a pretty good sized city, and it's very diverse here. And there are a lot of trees, but I wouldn't say it's rural.
So it's right outside of Sacramento. So it's sort of like the metropolitan area.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, got it. I'm picturing you in this bucolic, based on your art, this sort of fantasy land, kind of folklore-esque little cottage. I'll just keep that in my head. You have dogs.
I do. I have 4 dogs. They're all rescue dogs.
Oh, what kind or what?
They're all mutts. Yeah, they're all mixes and very different personalities, different ages. And
what are their names?
We've got Susie, who's the oldest. We've got Bailey, who's a Rottweiler mix, and then Sahara, who's a Dachshund mix, and then Tony, named after Tony Danza for some reason, who's a Beagle mix. So.
Tony the Beagle mix.
Yeah.
And Susie. Love that. So you go, Tony, Susie, come on, time for dinner.
Yeah.
People think they're children. That's adorable. So what I want to ask you about is, what did you do before you became an illustrator, before representation, before this wonderful new life you've made for yourself? What did you do?
Yeah, well, for work, I was working in an office job. I was paying off a lot of student loan debt. So that kind of kept me in a job for a really long time, for several years actually, doing that. But before that, I was in college, and I spent a really long time in college actually. So I spent maybe like 5 years in community college,
Mhm.
and then another 2 years after I transferred.
I
2 years.
really like that because I do feel like I've had a lot of college too, and I feel like as I got older and evolved, I was more mature, more able to do the work, more motivated, and my style evolved
Yeah.
probably really in the last 3 years, 2, 3 years of it. So that's really smart. And so you were part-time and working in the meantime?
Yeah, I mean, I was working full time actually, and
Wow.
as soon as I paid off everything, I quit. I just had to quit, and I think you get to a certain point where there's something that you want to do so badly
Yeah.
that there's just no more excuses for not doing it. I mean, I was still making art after school after I graduated, but I wasn't doing much with it. I was making fine art, like paintings and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and selling them. And but yeah, I wanted to go full time with it, so I quit. And then yeah, I enrolled in the ICB course last year, and then
Illustrating children's books.
yeah, which is
And Zoe and I saw your work and were like, wow, where your style was so evolved. And we had, a lot of students we've seen for many years. And oh, Zoe is here. Hi,
hi
Zoe.
Zoe.
And then, so you took ICB
Yeah,
twice, maybe, no,
yeah,
twice. And then what happened? I know what happened. It was really good.
yeah. I started working with Zoe actually on a book. So
On a book. So you're currently illustrating children's book already.
yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
That's phenomenal. Um, it's, and you were well prepared. You knew how to do what you needed. How are you feeling with the book?
I'm feeling pretty good about it. I still have a little bit more work to do on it, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. Yeah.
Good. So you feel like you know about creating a character with personality and um, about telling a narrative on each page it- and I haven't seen the work and I haven't, secrecy. It's all this I'm making up. But typically you want to have maybe supplemental characters and the mood of the piece. So you learned all that. You got good at that. You took your cool style. Yes, ICB almost starts next week. Does it start Monday? No, does
It's
it?
April 12th it starts.
April 12th. It's all I can do to keep up with the day I'm in. Okay, April 12th. I can't wait. I'm very excited. And I love Zoe and she's brilliant. And so she swooped in and commissioned
Yeah.
Tisha from class. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sales pitch, but it's true. So you have this really evolved, very sophisticated style. I think of Ben Shahn, I think of mid-century. Talk to me about your influences and how you evolved. Like, how did you have the guts to really stand your ground with a very special style, if that makes sense?
Well, I think, I was in school for so long. So obviously I took a ton of art classes. So I've learned a lot of of the foundational elements of it, of making art. But I also took tons of art history classes. And
Mm,
one of the first ones that I ever took was a modern art history class. So basically that goes from the late 1800s. I think we went all the way into the 1970s or something, and ending with Andy Warhol and starting with Cezanne. And that is my gold right there. I'd like all of those people within that whole.
that explains everything. And I love hearing this. And everyone, please take an art history class one way or another. Please do that. Or, just go to your museums and get yourself online, whatever. Because I see the mid-century reference and I love it. I was thinking before this morning when I was thinking about what I want to talk to you about, what I feel like maybe your style is the closest to mine was as an illustrator. So I feel this real simpatico. I mean, it's the lettering, it's the mid-century. Of course, I am mid-century, but even so, like there was like Ben Shahn was obviously before me, and Stuart Davis and so many people that I saw, and I was like, wow, you can draw like that? Like that was such a departure from de Kooning or Rothko. I wanted to draw pictures of things, but not realistically, and it was about line quality. Yeah, that's so exciting. So who influenced you?
I would say early on, I was really influenced by Marc Chagall and
Of course, makes
yeah,
sense.
Marc Chagall and Frida Kahlo. I was very influenced by them when I was doing fine art. Everything was all about expression and kind of dreamy kind of stuff and symbolism, things like that. And then when I started to get into illustration, it was like Ben Shahn and Andy Warhol. And if you guys don't know, Andy Warhol was an illustrator before he was a fine artist. And his illustration work, it goes from like very personal stuff to children's books to like ads for, you know, department stores. And I mean, his work is just amazing. Yeah.
Well, he drew beautifully with that ink smudgy line and bits of flat color. I agree with you. Yeah, we have the same influences. Very interesting. Yeah, and I went nuts when when I was in regular college before art school, I took every art history class I could. I took Renaissance to modern, modern to modern, and then like I forget, and I just soaked everything up. I didn't take the one before Renaissance. I had no interest at that time, like medieval, medieval to Renaissance or something like that. Yeah, that's so cool. Well, something really exciting happened in mid-century, previous century, where it was a lot about drawing and line, you know. Yeah, and stylizing. Wow, that's pretty cool. I say we jump into the work because who's dying to see her work? Raise your hand, or just, you don't have to do that. Okay, so they're all saying me. I'm going to share the screen and we're going to dive in, and let me open back up my chat because that goes away. I don't know why they do that. And here we go. I paint purple. So that was the story I wrote. Oh, that's funny. You went away. Oh, well. I can't see you, but if we need to, we'll pull back. Okay. So it is, so much spark. Yeah, that's what Zoe always talks about, a character with spark. So this is a story I wrote for the children's book course. Yes, I have written a text this year, British Jenny. Didn't you see it? It's called Pencil Adds 2 + 2. That's the name of the story. And of course, Zoe wrote 2 incredibly exquisite, beautiful stories, as always. That will be irresistible to illustrate. I paint purple. So it's about a girl who only wants to paint in purple. What's so great about this conceptually is how she's sort of covering the world with purple. She knows how to make the title of the book pop. And it's just, I loved this lettering. I loved how you did the serifs. So nice. It's got a charming wonk to it. Love how you did the white line on here. I want to ask you, what is your medium? How do you work?
Yeah, so I use acrylic wash. I think that's how you say it. So I use that, and what I basically do is I'll do like a very, very rough pencil sketch of something, and then I will start to paint the different pieces of it, and then I will scan them in, and I will collage them in Photoshop.
Fabulous.
So, yeah.
Fabulous. And you don't use Procreate on an iPad?
No.
Old school. It's funny how that's old school. Okay, there was a time when that was new to do Photoshop. Absolutely gorgeous. Where do I begin with the sophistication of this? Look at all the blank space she has, this area, but it's so activated with stunning texture, beautiful color. So much is about her color, her composition, her drawing. And then the wonderfulness of the posters on the wall, and she's pulling off a thing. Zoe, I know, would love the reaching, the pulling, the tension in the body, the stretching. Kids don't read yet. They understand expressions and movement. That even if they're so little, maybe they're a year or two old and they don't even understand all the words, you are miming for them in an illustration for a children's book. You are miming, you are, it's pantomime, it's theater, it's acting in a way where they can see. Heather asks, how are you doing the fine lines, the lettering within the posters?
I think I actually did this one in Photoshop. So I just have a Wacom tablet and I was just drawing it out with that. But usually what I'll do is I'll take, I don't know if anyone can see me, but I'll take a Tombow pen.
I'm gonna stop the screen share so we can see you. Okay,
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
A lot of times I'll take a Tombow and I will just write everything out, either side, depending on what I'm doing. I do a lot of stuff for the line and the lettering. I never get rid of my brushes ever. I let them get crazy bad and they make really, really good marks. So yeah, so this one is, it's destroyed, but it makes really good marks, so.
And like, if you don't always clean the ink out of it so well, like I have oil paint brushes, they're very small little things, and like they're so splayed from the gunk in there, but you just get the greatest line. Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's go back to the screen. And here we are. Just gorgeous, just gorgeous. I could go on. So here we have another piece you did for the Illustrating Children's Book class. Just a charming, charming child. Your lettering is really fun to read. This is Ayana. She only paints with purple. That's her painting hat. So a nice touch, you know, you've spent time really thinking about this child, thinking about that she has a painting hat, that where her paints are, that she's painting madly and frenetically and taping them all over the walls, and they're on the floor, and there's a squished paint tube. Oh, look at this art book. Oh my God. Is that like Paul Klee? Do you love Paul Klee?
Yeah.
I think we're like biologically related.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
That would be super cool. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was like probably one of my favorite pieces from that class.
Yeah.
Just because I went through so many characters with her and I painted them all out, and finally I was thinking, it needs diversity. So a character that's not typically represented in kids' books, probably, but I think that's changing.
Love it.
And a character that maybe has a lot of confidence. And so I actually, I was looking through photographs of Picasso, and I found this photograph of him, and he had his arms crossed and his legs out, and he was holding, like, maybe, I don't know if he was holding a paintbrush, but I was like, that's it, that's her. So Yeah.
I love that you used the model of a man
Yes.
for that stance
Yeah.
and the confidence. That was brilliant, because we tend to attribute that to a certain kind of man, but
Mhm.
why not attribute it to a small child?
Yeah.
Why not a child of color? It's really wonderful. Um, Tell me about this. The
So
girls.
I was looking for, a lot of times when I am using color, I will pick a lot of different paintings that I love, usually from like the beginning half of the 20th century. And I'll kind of pick colors out of there. And I love that painting so much. So
Mhm.
everything in the book is basically based off of those colors. Not the book, the artwork that I did for the class. So
It's so,
yeah.
and it's such a strong point of view, your color palette. I mean, this color is absolutely just so yummy with a darker version for the lines. This beautiful, beautiful, warm, muddy gray. It's like edible, this green with bits of yellow in it and so forth. Really, she's not using a lot of bright colors overall. It's so controlled. So when she pops in all this bright, bright, vivid purple, it reads really fantastic. Okay, this I think is the hardest part of the course, at least for me it would be, because I'm not naturally good at drawing characters and poses, so it's such admiration for all of you who do it. It's learnable like anything else, but you did an amazing job here with skipping. Look at that other leg behind, and she's off the ground. Zoe has always taught us give a shadow, give shadows, but you see the shadow suggests she's off the ground. She's on a swing, her arms are back and she's leaning forward, legs are out. She's pulling away from the adult. She's crouching down in this wonderful crouch and curl. Of course, lying on the ground with the feet crossed and her arms out. I love the little bit of curl on her puffs. So beautiful. Just great, just great. What your thoughts on this? Was it hard to do?
Yes. This was a hard one. This was a really
Yeah,
hard one. But
you wouldn't know it.
yeah, but I think you just made a really good point that everything, you can learn anything.
Mhm.
So I think that week I went out very quickly and I bought a book on poses for like characters and stuff, because it's actually a lot different. I think it's a bit different than like figure drawing. I took like a year of figure drawing in college,
Mhm.
which was very intense, but it's different because the characterization, you want to emphasize certain things. And that kind of takes me back to like Ben Shahn, because Ben Shahn, when he did his line drawings, his people, he knew how to like emphasize the right things. And he told a story very, very easily through just emphasizing a hand or a hip or something like that. So those are kind of the things that I was looking at and trying to get inspiration from. But it was hard. It's definitely, it took a lot of tries. So
And that's great for people to hear. It's important for people to hear that everything doesn't just come naturally, but you didn't give up. It was important to you to work on this, Oh, they want to know what book. What do you know what book it was?
then, the characterization.
Yeah.
Let me see. It's right here. It's a great book. It's called The Silver Way.
The what?
The Silver Way.
The Silver Way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
And,
by Stephen Silver.
oh,
And I mean, I've like just gone through literally this entire book doing all of his exercises. And
wow.
but you don't want your art to look like his, you want it to look like yours. So that's another element you gotta think about. But
And the way to avoid that is just keep drawing into, like, look at the book, study the book, do the book, and
yeah,
then put the book away and draw 1,000 times till you get your own thing.
yeah.
Not really, literally 1,000. British Jenny says, who writes our brilliant newsletters for Matt's. Do you just love her newsletters?
Yeah.
Um, Thank you, Lynn. So British Jenny says she loves how this changes on the hat. It's also, you know, the how you know the anatomy, you work it, but then you stylize with flat. You go flat in places, like in this very cool graphic designy way. Yeah, the color palette is exquisite, Alma. Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Okay. I mean, when I saw this, I thought I was going to just die in the review, in the gallery, when you put it in the gallery. The lettering, it's confident but charming, wonky. There's variety. The ATM is solid in this muddy, mauvey color. Thin line here, outline for books. And this book is italic, and here it's straight up and down with letter spacing. And then you've got this cute little script stuff going on. The stylization of the flat orange shapes on the pink. I really think all your years of art school, of college, gave you time to really evolve too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been painting for like probably not my whole life. You know, I didn't start painting until I was probably like 22.
But you drew. Did you draw as a child?
Yeah, but I think everybody kind of makes art as a kid, and then I think as you get older, you kind of take the cue from like what's happening in school, and obviously those assignments go away, like middle school, high school. Like I had no art assignments, so I kind of didn't think to make art. But yeah, so
yeah, look at, it's beautiful. Look at this gray, and then this gray, and even this gray is maybe a little different than that, maybe not. But there's so many ways to do gray, so many ways, and that's the richness. So beautiful. Great reference, the fire escape, the buildings, the storefronts. You want to go there and be there. The lights, the stained glass window up there, and the grill up there, the air conditioner, the cat. I mean, look at these beautiful birds, and it's sort of a translucency over the background. The brick, to me, your line quality, your wonky variation of the shapes of the brick is extraordinary. This is like doing a review that, like how Zoe and I do in class, but spending an hour instead of like 2 minutes or whatever on a piece. I heard that people want a request for some more random picks, so I think Zoe and I will do that in class this time too. Let's see. Jennifer Russ asks, do you have any books on lettering that you like? How did you develop your lettering skills?
So I was like totally terrified to do anything with lettering. I just thought, there's no way, I'm not good enough at it. I'm never going to use it. And then I took, first of all, I'm a really big fan of your lettering, Lilla.
You what? Oh,
I'm a big fan of your lettering.
Oh, thank you.
But I took a Skillshare class with, I can't think of the guy's name, something Victori. I don't know his name. He was just like, just go for it. And I was like, okay, I'll just go for it. And so I just started doing lettering after that. And really, like, it's not as hard as you think it is. But I am always kind of moving things around in Photoshop. So I give myself enough freedom on my paper to just make 5 different R's. And then when I scan everything in, I pick the one that fits best. So.
Me too. I do. I will write out the words or word, like, or a phrase so many times, and then pick but here's what I find too. If I do an alphabet and or just random words to warm up, the main thing that happens is if I slow down and carve each letter form slowly, then I tend to not have to do versions, like, could pretty much get it the first time.
Mhm.
Not always, maybe a second. There were times when I was illustrating full time when I would have like, 30 on the floor all around me, a word. And eventually you see they're all the same. Maybe the first ones are a little stiff, but then, you could do the G this way or that way, or you could do the H, or maybe, then they all become kind of the same or just equally good, but different, and you can go nuts. So I try to kind of rein it in.
Yeah. And this painting right here, it has like, just to give you an idea, it has like 200 layers in it in Photoshop. It's like an insane document because I try things a lot and then I just pick something that works, So they don't all take that many. Sometimes they're around like 20 layers, but this one had a lot of layers. So,
but I love the viewers hearing this. I love this because you are learning that it takes work, that you do a lot of layers, that you do the word several times. You are involved and committed. They're just loving to hear this, by the way, Tisha, if you're seeing
yeah.
it. I'm looking at the questions too. That is, so Nita says, that is affirming what we as creatives go through. Thanks. Yes, yes. And if you want to be loose, just be tight for a long time. Or another way, just practice a long time, and then it becomes easy to be so-called loose.
Mhm.
And do people think your style is loose? Do they say, oh, it's so loose, it's so fresh? Do you get that?
I get fresh a lot.
Yeah.
That's like probably the most common word used.
Because it's not loose, is it? Like, it's so controlled.
It is controlled. I kind of leave the looseness up to the brush. Like I said, I use a lot of different horrible looking brushes for a lot of stuff. I have some nicer ones too, but yeah, I kind of leave it up to the brush to kind of make an interesting mark typically.
But you're the boss of the brush.
Yeah, exactly.
Make
So,
quote me.
yeah.
The boss of the brush. This mailbox, I'm dying how you've stylized it in a super charming, you've anthropomorphized it. It's a cute little character. It's got a children's book cuteness to it. It's chubby and small with little tiny limbs. You probably just do it intuitively too. But proportion, it's about proportion. This truck, this wonderful long front, the nose on the truck, just beautiful. The teensy wheels, just, I'm going nuts. Do you think I like her work, people? Just a little, huh?
Yeah, I always try to think about like giving everything, even an inanimate object, a characterization, like giving it that much attention. And I think it just helps the overall piece. And I learned that in school. So
fantastic. Someone says, I hope that you do a skill share. Oh, Jennifer Russ says, I hope you do a skill share class one day, Tisha.
Yeah,
you should do that.
Yeah, I would love to.
I'd take it. I would. I totally would. Well, maybe we can have you do like a little something for mats.
Yeah, I would love that.
Okay, let's talk about that. That would be so, like a little painting segment. That would be so good.
That'd be fun.
And by the way, people, that's how business goes. You connect with people you really want to work with, and then you put stuff together, you let it evolve. And that's how I got Zoe Tucker, teacher of ICB. Margot, I knew her for some time, and then I'm like, I want to teach home decor with you. I love you so much, and you're so cool and knowledgeable. It's about, and then of course, Riley, my latest new drug, Riley Wilkinson, and the toy course, which we've been spending forever writing because we love it so much and the concept. Anyway, so that's spring sale. It starts today. Make sure you sign up. The prices are great. Okay, Bob and Bug. So this was a Zoe Tucker story, wasn't it, Zoe?
Yeah, this is something Zoe wrote about a balloon. And yeah, this was for the class also. I started working on this afterwards. Yeah, this was fun too. This was kind of like, took more time doing this stuff because I didn't have the deadlines, but yeah.
Because you didn't have the deadlines. Oh, because you did it after class.
Did it after, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
It's such a great balloony nose, and
it's really, yeah, it's like, it's a challenge to draw an object and make it into a character. You'd be surprised. It looks like a simple balloon, but I drew like 100 balloons. I was like, I have no idea, but I like that one. So
unbelievable. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think minimalism is harder. You have less stuff to use. You don't have, if you added hair and a hat, and I mean, you just can't add so much stuff, and you don't have limbs and a body, and yeah, it's hard. Okay, here we go again. Oh, I love the face of looking up. Little body, the yellow boots. Yeah, look at this. Wow. Look at that one looking down. That's an amazing, look at the amount of emotion she gets in this balloon. Look at that. You know that you can feel the feeling. You don't even have to put a word, a label on it. She drew 100 balloons, Oliver writes. It's so important to put it in perspective when we draw one balloon and want to give up because it's not perfect on the first try. Exactly. Please remember that when you take my classes, it takes time. And everyone you see that's really, really good, they've done their 10,000 hours, they've drawn a million billion times, and they stick with it. So how can you keep yourself sticking with your art practice? What can you do? For me, I feel like I always need to fuel the pump. This was before online classes. You've got maths to take, to give you the deadlines and motivation, and also reviews keep you motivated. But think about it. Is it organizing your supplies, buying your supplies, sitting down with your materials, doing a sketch of something? I love this. Look at the love they feel. What word would you use to describe this emotion that Tisha has so brilliantly done? Content, joy, tenderness, oh, good word. Complete, content, kindness, love, warm, close, affectionate, friendship, friends forever. Isn't that satisfying, Tisha, to know how people really get it?
Yeah. Yeah, again, the poses, they take a little bit to, to figure out and stuff, but yeah, just kind of keep going until you get, I think the key is to keep creating something until you yourself feel the thing that you're trying to get other people to feel.
I love that. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I would always feel like I was an actor. Like I would get in the character and feel like squishy love or anger or whatever. And then it could come through. That's a great tip. Look at this. What emotion is this, people? Type in. Martina says, I love how she sinks into the chair. Comfort, companionship, enthralls. Yeah, intrigue, peaceful, interest, trust, cozy, lots of feelings. So it's about the sort of cozy and contented, but then absorbed. Curiosity, says Alicia. Veronica, safety, relaxed. Lots of emotion are conveyed there. Wonderful. Okay. I mean, the colors. This is one of my faves.
This is my backyard. This is my interpretation of it.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So,
it's your real backyard?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so good. Those palm trees.
Yeah, it was fun. It's really fun working from life and then kind of trying to alter it and kind of filter it through a personal perspective. And because a lot of times I do reference stuff, but working from life is different than working from like something you're looking at on a computer screen or something that you're looking at in a book. So that was really fun.
Yeah, they love this. They love the wonkiness. Your style really. Oh, Susan's here. One of my favorites, she says. I love the pops of pink and the story it tells. Susan McCabe is one of the incredible agents at the studio, assigns tons of jobs every day, and well, not every single day. She would be mad at me for saying no, she wouldn't be mad. Okay, I'll stop talking about that. What I love is you've got this, the foreground is on like sort of a flat plane, and then you have the next level or depth, and then you have this wall, and then behind it's almost like a sandwich in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
The stylization of this leaf with the lines across, extraordinary. The texture you've gotten here is just, there's no area that she has not attended to. Nothing that's just thrown in, not considered. Even the mark making on the screen, the black lines on the green, the little circular things, so wonderful. Bunny. I love the thin, wiry wire lines here. They're I think the only really thin lines. Everything is a surprise. So here we have a thicker line, here a really fat line, almost a shape. These are shapes now, the wood. I'm going nuts over these bleeding hearts.
Yeah.
Going nuts. You're making me rethink my stained glass design that I drew with bleeding hearts. I want to do this piece, but I drew it from the White Flower Farm catalog, put on Insta. You may have seen it. But it was like a little too realistic for me. And I knew someone was bugging me. It's not wonk. So I have to draw it a second time or third time and wonk it up. So thank you for this inspiration.
Sure.
Anything else you want to say about this gorgeous piece?
Oh man, no. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing this. This was actually I think this was for the pre-work that you sent out in the email to the Illustrating Children's Book course. So it was like paint something outside of your window, which is a really good prompt if anybody's stuck on what to paint.
Maths prep, British Jenny says.
Yeah.
For ICB 2020.
So that's the view I'm looking at right now. Okay, so.
British Jenny, when are we doing a maths prep for ICB? We must be, right? Yes. And when did they get that? Do you know? I know. See, the thing is, like, I write the things like in advance, and then I have to like, what the heck did I do for that one? She probably can't say what it is. Okay, she's probably looking. 3 parts and a bonus starting April 3rd. Oh, that's good. Okay, OMG. Talk to me about this.
So this was another pre-ICB maths prep thing. And this was flipping it, so making big things small and small things big.
Oh, I remember that one.
So yeah, so I turned the dog and the squirrel a little and put them into the garden.
Mm-hmm.
And then tried to create some kind of a story there. So
look at the chutzpah she has in making the raindrops such big blobs, the water droplets. I mean, that takes a real, I love your confidence. So what I wrote down on a Post-it note before we met today was, how did you have the confidence and the guts to do your style, to make those statements? Do you know what I mean? Those the participants, do you know what I'm trying to say to her? And Tisha, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah, it's like the confidence in the brush mark and is that what you're saying?
yeah, and that you go for it. I know it comes from your passion. Like, I know you just had a really good time modulating the colors of these drops, you know, and the blobby shapes and the arc. I know you had fun with it. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. I
Come
mean,
through.
yeah, I love how like the leaves on the top turned out. It's like this swirly paint kind of thing.
This,
Yeah,
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 and the mark
yeah.
making. But
I
I,
think
yeah.
I don't know. I think it just comes from like years of painting. I
Mhm.
mean, and like I said, when I took the first art history class I took was of modern art, you know, and I took it at the same time I took a beginning painting class. And I, in that painting class, I would just copy paintings from modern art a lot of the times. And so I was doing, like, I started out doing like cubist paintings, not really understanding a lot of cubism stuff, but I was like, look how they're using the paint and
Mhm.
this kind of, there's a lot of modulation in that. And yeah, I don't know. I think you have to be confident with it. You know.
You do, and it's not something you can sort of fake. Confidence comes from experience. It's that simple.
Mhm.
Um, Chiquita says you can see her love for making. Looks like creative freedom. Well put. Well
Yes.
put. So here's what I want to say. This character, OMG, you have to do that. Like, could you write a story? Do you like writing stories?
You know, before I majored in art, I was a creative
Writing,
writing major.
of
So
course.
yeah, I do want to write stories, and I have an idea for a story, but I could definitely stick a squirrel in there.
Okay, we have to talk about that. Okay, will you schedule a time with me?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll talk about your story and the mini class. Uh, Unbelievable. I mean, this is just absolutely gorgeous. So gorgeous. Look at these guys. Hilarious. This just incredible. It's all about line quality, people. Okay, talk to me. What was this for?
So this was also for the Mats prep, and this is kind of trying to make that story kind of have these characters be in a story together somehow. So now they're all together and they're traveling. Yeah,
Boots.
this one was fun. I don't know. I just like I loved in my mind. I love the idea of this train sort of coming down this like hill, and I love the movie Darjeeling Limited, and there's a scene where they're running down the hill, kind of, in like this sand dune, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do something like that. So, and then
Um,
like little city here. Yeah.
Chiquita says every image has a narrative.
Yes.
Talk
Yeah.
to me about that.
I think that's something I have always been drawn to.
Mhm.
I love narratives in painting. I think I was kind of confusing a lot of my professors in school as to why I didn't major in like illustration, but I just didn't have the resources for it. I couldn't afford to move to Oakland or San Francisco to go major in that. So I majored in fine art, and but everything I did was telling a story, and I looked at a lot of like Sienese painting, which is like, I don't know, 13th century, and that's all storytelling. And I was just kind of obsessed with it. You know, I've always been obsessed with telling a story in a piece of art. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You know, my first degree was general fine arts at in Oakland at CCAC, which is now
Yeah.
CCA. And then I taught middle school art and then moved in the East Coast and then moved back to California to be a painter. And I took a painting class at the Art Institute. But then I found this place called the Academy of Art in San Francisco, which at the time was two little buildings. Now,
Oh,
of course,
wow.
it's like the whole town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And fell in love with illustration.
Mhm.
I love that you get an assignment. I love that there's a deadline and it's move, 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 next, 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 go, go, go. I was just telling our, at the staff meeting yesterday for the agency, how I loved getting the manuscript or an assignment. It's like winning the lottery when somebody calls you and they want to pay you to like freaking do art on something and the idea and your mind gets right. Like when you read the art, the manuscript for the children's book you're illustrating, did you just get so excited and your mind was bursting with ideas?
Yes. Yeah, totally. It's a cool feeling just to, I always tell my boyfriend, I'm like, I can't believe like I get paid
Right.
to just do this. Like, it's so cool. So
I
fun.
know. Yeah. You make your living drawing pictures.
Yeah.
This is stunning. Tell me about this.
This is also Matt's prep. This is Jitna, who works for Make Art That Sells, right?
Right. She's
Yeah.
the manager.
So
Mhm.
this is the conclusion to the last last 3 images. So they're all together now at the train station in Kenya. So yeah.
I mean,
Or they're on
this guy, you got to do him like a whole story. I mean, his legs crossed. I'm literally LOL. Look at this. And the newspaper. Look how she tells a story. It's busy. So there's this scene, but all the business, people going in different directions. You get the energy of them whizzing by. Great storytelling. This dog sniffing the mouse on a little cart. Tell me about this little scene.
this. I think I gave her a toy or something. Maybe it's like the next slide, but I gave her like a little mouse toy. I think in the photograph you sent us, she was wearing like a Mickey Mouse shirt.
Oh, right. That was her childhood picture.
Yeah, so I changed it to a little mouse
That's
toy or
great.
something.
That's so good. Okay. I love it. Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
So this is her at the train station in Kenya. It's Matt's prep. I really loved all of those assignments. They're so good.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, they're really helpful. So yeah, and this is I don't know, it was fun. It was cute.
Yeah. I mean, I want the luggage. I want the luggage and I want the tile on the floor.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. Okay, this is a departure in some ways only because it's black and white.
Yeah.
What's the medium here?
So this is gouache. It's just used a little bit differently. It's used in like a more like a wash, like a watercolor, which is how I first, this is like an earlier piece that I did with illustration. So that's kind of how I was working at first. I didn't really know, I was still kind of figuring it out. And now I paint much more impasto or like very thick when I paint. But yeah, this is like kind of like watered down gouache, and I think it's colored pencil too.
And the thin line, is that pencil?
No, that's a brush. That's just a brush.
Wait, the hair?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's probably like much bigger in real life. What paper are you using? Is that a cold press?
I use a cold press.
I mean hot press. Oh, it's hot press, smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hot press, smooth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I usually just use really cheap paper typically because I go through so much of it. It's not precious. It's just, you know, if I have some really expensive paper, but it's like, you know.
I know. I know, but it's okay to evolve to that better paper. Okay, Andy Warhol Jr. Andy Warhol Jr. I mean, gorgeous, such control of the brush with the thins and thicks, with the lettering styles. This so beautiful. The texture, the grainy, how it's sort of dry brushy here, and this bit of bleed and scratch, and then goes to a thin line, and she goes to a full stop, goes horizontal, from a strong vertical. Yes, I want to teach a lettering class. Strong horizontal, goes up to a curve, controls the brush, goes over at this diagonal, full stop, angle, turns, and that's about control. That's about control, knowing where you're going to want to go, where you're going to go. So you know before you make your next move what you're going to do. Did I describe it properly?
Yeah.
Good.
That's pretty much it. So,
Good. I mean,
yeah.
this foot, are you kidding? So good. Beautiful. Tell me about this.
This is I found this page on Instagram, this Leap Dance Academy, and I think they're in Nigeria, and they're just so beautiful. It's like all these little kids, and they're dancing, and they're learning ballet, and yeah. So I was so inspired by them, and I just decided to do a piece, do a painting of it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Love. Tell me about this.
This, I think, is from the home decor class.
Mm.
And I think it was some tropical kind of mood board.
Okay.
And yeah, so it was like birds. These are just the icons for it. So it was birds and flowers, I think was the assignment. So yeah, this was fun.
It was what?
So this was really fun.
It's Susan McCabe says another favorite of hers. Yeah, I mean, I'm going nuts over this, how you stylize the bananas and the line quality on these yellow shapes. This smudge on here, the smudge is controlled. It looks like on this one that maybe used an X-Acto to cut this. Is that, how did you get that crisp edge?
I would say the editing in Photoshop takes the longest out of anything. And so I have to go over everything in Photoshop with the eraser and just clean up all of the lines.
Got it.
So yeah.
Beautiful. I'm crazy about it.
Yeah.
Is that so those are all on different pieces of paper and then scanned in?
For the most part, yeah.
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 Love her. I mean, this is just breathtaking. Breathtaking.
Yeah. I noticed that a lot of people were painting Frida Kahlo, and she's so popular with illustrators.
I know.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna do a portrait of her. So I did this. I took the cigarette out of her hand though, because I was like, I don't do cigarettes. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Beautiful. So cool. A sleeping Romani. Tell me about this. What a wagon.
Yeah, so this was, I think this was pretty early on, this piece. So everything is very, the application of the paint is very watery. But I just love this guy. I love this idea of this like kind of reclining person. And there's a lot of artists who have done similar stuff. I think Marc Chagall has a really beautiful painting called The Reclining Poet.
Wow.
And it's just this guy sleeping in front of like a shed or something. So I wanted to do kind of like a version of that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Beautiful. Oh my God, so good. Tell me about this.
So this was for the editorial class that you just did. And this was all about communication. And we kind of didn't know what we were supposed to be painting. It was like a surprise. So it's just, you know, everybody had very different ideas of communication and how to do that. So yeah, this is what I did. So
I love how it's very graphic design in a wonderful way. How, you know, you've got these strong rectangles and then incredible typography placed obviously vertical and overlapping horizontal, overlapping really, really nice. And your storytelling closed off clearly, face to face, literally, but instead of two people, it's a dog and a person. texting with the hunched over pose we all know so well. When we're,
Yeah.
that L shape. I go over to my husband when he's on his computer and I go, honey, you're an L.
Yeah.
Upside down L, talking to each other. So beautiful. Tell me about this. I know what this is for. Tell us.
Yeah, this is also for the editorial class, and this was icons. I think you just gave us like a list of icons, and then we
Right.
were going to paint them. So yeah,
I
so very
love,
fun.
and one of the mid-century features about this is almost like if it were Pantone colors and you got 5, like the navy blue, the hot pink, this green, like silk screen, like old-fashioned lithography printing where you could do full color, which was really expensive because you needed to get a transparency and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
it was much less expensive to do everything in black and then spec out what was what. So that's why there'd be like these flat repeating colors.
Mhm.
It's really freaking cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful. The sewing machine was just to throw the students off, by the way, which you now know, and the coffee cup and the cupcake. So
Yeah.
it was this and 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 this.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Here we go. That was your finish.
That was the finished piece. Yeah.
That's about it.
So the article was about the woman who discovered that, I think she was the one who discovered it, that trees talk to each other through like roots and fungi and all of that. And yeah, it was a really interesting article.
Yeah,
So
wasn't
yeah.
it? And you have such control, like right away we go here. Why? It's the only, you do have pink elsewhere, but this is the brighter pink and the yellow. So right away we go to the focal point, which is her. She's got glasses, she's got a clipboard, a utility pocket, hiking boots. You tell the story of who she is. She's not going on her first date. She's not, she is doing it could be a date, but she's studying, she's learning, she's looking, and the environment is clear where she is in a forest. Look at the stylization of the ground. These shapes, beautiful.
Yeah, I was trying to paint moss or something.
That's wonderful. Stylizing is not easy because it can't be so stylized. You don't know what the heck the thing is. So you push, 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 and then you stop before it goes insane. Okay, gorgeous. Talk.
This is one I just did a few weeks ago, I think.
know.
Yeah, this was for, what was this for?
I know, I'm trying to think. Was it for something or personal work?
This was for, is it boot camp? Yes, it's the journal cover.
Oh, yeah. You can't remember either. That's great. Yeah, the journal cover is so pretty. Tell us about that assignment and how you came to this.
Yeah, well, it's such an open-ended assignment. And everybody had really cool stuff. This was just you gave us a color palette.
I was just gonna say that.
You gave
Yes.
us a really nice color palette to use. So this is from that color palette. And
thank you.
I mean, I just thought it'd be so cool to do some sort of weird, funky little map or town or something like that. So that's what I did. And I kind of went maybe a little bit more imaginative than maybe I usually do, which was really fun. And yeah.
Beautiful. I'm going nuts over these strawberries and this little house. It's so interesting. Yeah, this was a really loose assignment. And normally I don't feel it's all, there's this dichotomy, there's this pull. On the one hand, I want to give specificity of an assignment so people who are maybe newer and need more structure aren't lost and overwhelmed. But on the other hand, I like to give some amount of freedom, not total, because you want that structure and direction so you're not aimless all week. But it's a poll, and I was really thrilled. I gave a lot of independence for this assignment, and everybody did really well. So, and I love what you did. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous. And last but clearly not least,
this is from, I think this is in my year of art school. You kind of put little assignments out in that, and it was just bunny and flowers, and that was it. So kind of like a greeting card, very
It's-
springtime.
yeah, and I'm sure Susan and Kim have already pitched it to greeting card companies. It's perfect. And if you do a greeting card, think of what you would send to somebody. Think of making it generic enough that people can buy it for different kinds of people that they might send it to. Generic in that there's not a lot of specificity, not generic in style, not that it's watered down style. She didn't water it down, but this is clearly appropriate for a card in that it's not telling a story of what, it's not a children's book illustration. Like, here's a bunny and it's sad because it ate a rotten carrot or something, you know, it's like just, yeah, Lynn says this would be perfect for a card. And Lynn works at American Greetings. Am I right, Lynn? I know my students. I know my peeps. Yes. So she knows. Okay. So now let's go back to the human beings. That was so wonderful.
Thank you.
I really loved it. We have a giveaway. Don't go away, people. We have a giveaway. Will you pop up the poll, Kim? I forgot about the poll. Will you pop that up? And then we're going to have a giveaway. Do you want to hold up what you're going to give away too?
Yeah. Okay. I've got a print, the Frida Kahlo print.
Unbelievable. And how is that printed?
On paper. I don't know. It's
Like with your printer or?
no, I put it in Society 6 and I just had it printed and sent to my house. So.
Wonderful. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. That's good. And this is Sarah Walsh, a product that we just got in. I'm really excited with Dejeco. And what it is, and I think I'm going to base, I might be basing an assignment on this, by the way. It's a little hint, boot campers. It comes with these, it comes with a booklet. I love a booklet, right? So first of all, it's about Sarah Walsh in the beginning, my artist. And then it gives the step-by-step. Isn't that nice? We should talk about you doing something for them. Okay, you've got 3 things to talk to me about. And then they give you all these little, is that incredible?
So cute.
Everybody's gonna go out and buy it. This is a little picker thing. So you get these cards with her gorgeous art. And it's very, you know, it's everything's backwards on, oh, God, I'm not doing that on purpose. Look at that. And then, so you take this picker and you peel off, I have to get it just right.
You peel off the flower? Is that what you do?
Yeah, you peel off these little shapes and they're numbered and then it's sticky and then you pour the beads on.
Oh, that's cute.
Isn't that? I know. I'm actually going to do this. I love it. Okay. So don't forget to go to makeartthatsells.com and download your spring sale guide. I've got 3 worksheets in there all about the courses, my brand new course with Riley, the toy course, and I did the toy class with a week of the toy class with a bunch of my artists last month and for a residency, and it was phenomenal. Wasn't that great?
Yeah, yeah.
It
It was a lot of information, but it was really good.
I know it was intense. So there's that, and then Illustrating Children's Books is starting a week from Monday. So hurry and do get your good sale prices. British Jenny says, if you like watching Lilla show off LRS products, we've got a great newsletter coming out in a couple of days with Lilla and Kim showing off a ton of products. Oh, that's good. 20% off everything and up to 40% off the bundles. That's almost half off. Wow, who made these sale prices? Beth did, and she's a genius. She's great. And by the way, I forgot to mention, I also teach with Beth, the MBA class, who I love too. When I refer to all the people I teach with and how I, it's just very curated. Okay, so the giveaway, here's how it's going to roll. I am going to say a category. You can guess as often as you want. They go very quickly. We have a lot of people on here. Kim and I will try to find the correct answer as quickly as possible, but we may miss you, but you get what you get and you don't get upset. And okay, say okay if you're ready. Yeah. Chess. 2 people said chess. What is that? Bingo? Oh, yeah, it should be a game. No. Okay, the category is color. A color. This is a color I asked Tisha to give a color that she loves. To give a color that she loves. Oh,
I think I might
there
have
it
seen
is.
Yeah.
I saw 2, right, Kim?
Yeah. Tammy, yellow ochre.
Yellow ochre, Tammy, yes. Boom. Oh, that was good. That was fast.
That was fast.
And that is also one of my favorite colors. It's very mid-century.
Yeah.
Did I do everything? We did the giveaway. I made sure to talk about the sale. We looked at her beautiful art. I think we're good. Oh, let's see if there's a question. Wendy Cuero asks, what did you study in college? Did you take art classes in school?
Yes, I majored in fine art and I took lots and lots of art history classes. And I took a bunch of other classes too, but that was my focus, was fine art and painting. So.
Oh, that's great. Oh, and I forgot to say, Tammy, send an email to info@lillarogers.com and you will get your gorgeous with your address and say what you won. So you won this and you want to show them the beautiful art print again and you won that. What a good, boy, our prizes are just we're just up in the game. So good. They're going to love that. She's going to love it. Okay. BB asks, do you have tips for keeping your character drawn consistently throughout the book you're illustrating, the children's book?
Tips for that. I think you want to keep the head in proportion with the body for all of it. Obviously, it can get kind of, I don't know, it can vary from drawing to drawing or painting to painting, but keeping the head proportion with the body is like a very big thing to keep it the same throughout. That's probably it. I don't know, keeping it kind of loose still, so it can have some kind of variation to it, so you're not like, it's not exact. I think it should be able, it's done by hand, whether you're working with just paints or on a computer, it's still your hand doing it. So I think there should be some kind of a little bit of variation, but not much. So.
Variation in?
Variation, maybe like maybe a little different paint color in this scene, or I don't know, but definitely the head proportion to the body, that's a really big one.
So. Such an interesting tip, so helpful. And practice, you probably have to draw the different poses a bunch of times to get it right, or get out the eraser.
Yeah.
I love pencil and eraser. I love it. And we take it so for granted, but it's a brilliant tool that was invented. It just didn't grow on a tree. It was invented and evolved. Thank you. Thanks for the heads up, British Jenny. What did British Jenny say? All-star Zoom with all the maths teachers on Friday the 9th. Oh, thank you, British Jenny. We're having an all-star Zoom with all the maths teachers on Friday the 9th. And that is, you can you can, and then there's the one with Margot. When is the Margot one? I think it's Monday, right? Oh, Zoe likes All Stars. Yeah, Monday the 5th is Zoe. And then I had this idea, like, why don't we just get all the teachers for a Zoom? And we'll be there. Beth, Jenny, Riley, I think Margot. Zoe, is she in the All-Star? Like, somebody can't be there, I thought. Can they all be there? I'm so knowing what's going on. Look at me. Um, anyway, I thought, why not have everyone there to talk about the classes that they teach? You could ask them questions, and maybe we'll do a pop-up and, I don't know, look at somebody's website or something. And each of us can chime in with our expertise, me as an agent. Zoe for Kid Book, Margot for home decor, Riley for toy and game, Beth for career stuff. Maybe she can talk about the about page and the persona that's put forth. Doesn't that sound good?
That sounds awesome.
I know, right? Okay. Anonymous attendee asks what programs you use, and you said traditional and Photoshop. And it's Wacom or Syntec? Wacom.
Yeah.
Okay. What scanner do you use? Asked Lydia Graves.
I use just an Epson scanner. I think I paid like $100 for it. And the key with the scanning is that just scan at a very high DPI, and then you can kind of do whatever with it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and you kind of have to get down like your settings in the beginning, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
maybe yeah. How long ago did you get that one?
Probably 3-4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
$100. There you go.
Yep.
Do you prefer, so Susan Liller, I like your last name, asks, do you prefer gouache as a medium? Have a brand you recommend? Good
Yes. I use gouache, and I use acrylic gouache.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about this gouache is that you can layer over the paint that you've already put down, and it won't pick up what's underneath it usually.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to wait for it to dry. And so you can layer your colors very well with this.
Gives you freedom too. You don't have to worry. That's great.
Yeah.
Price is right, says Lydia Graves. Okay. Stephanie Morgan Rogers says, is there a Matt's calendar to see all the Zooms? Jenny, is it on like the homepage of Make Art That Sells? That would be good to just list the things. She says, yes. Success. Anna writes, do you meditate?
Do I seem like I meditate? No, I don't meditate. I don't, no.
But art making is meditation, I find. It can get you there.
Yeah, I mean, I do yoga. I run a lot. I think exercise in general is just good for your brain.
Yoga and run. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. It's really important. Don't you, like, I had to do art during my best energy, or my work really stunk. Like, it was bad. It just was horrible if I was tired. And I like, it was nerve-wracking because I had to be like, have my best energy and enough sleep and exercise and working out and, just stay. Do you find that? Well, you're young.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say my lifestyle in the past 2 years has just completely changed. I don't drink coffee past like 11 o'clock. I make sure I move my body every day. I eat pretty healthy. I actually stopped drinking alcohol. I don't drink alcohol anymore. Like, I had to like,
me.
Yeah, I had to really, because you have to be ready every day to make something. So, right. And if you're not feeling good in your body, it just makes it so much harder. And art is already this whole journey. Like, you might as well feel good when you're making it as best you can. So nobody's perfect, but.
I love that. Well, I was your age when I was a full-time illustrator. That's interesting. Wow, life is long. Okay, any last questions? Kaya says, in a full bleed illustration, do you draw the elements separately and merge them on Photoshop, or do you draw A to Z on paper and then scan it together? Thanks.
I put everything separate. I have like a basic drawing, and then I have everything painted, most everything painted separate. If I can paint some things together, I will, but I just really like to move stuff around, and I like to change the sizes, and I just get too into the editing. So I usually have everything very separate.
Do you first draw a pencil sketch so you kind of know the layout?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like a scribble, bird here, tree there, mountains.
Yes. Yeah.
So then you know what to draw and kind of where and how big. Although big doesn't matter, shrink. And then you pop them around.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Photoshop layers, best thing that ever happened. Can you imagine the old days when there was no Photoshop and you had to make it perfect?
Well, I didn't start using Photoshop till a few years ago, and I just found it really not freeing to just do art on one piece of paper. Some people are like brilliant at it, but I just thought I need more freedom. I don't like that mark. I want to make another one. I don't like that face. I'm going to make another one. So for me, Photoshop is really just about picking the best elements that I've done and just sticking them all in one piece of art. So
I have a question. This is on a different topic. How do you like working from home? Not just pandemic, but this is, was that one of the reasons you became an illustrator?
Yes, I don't do well with a 9 to 5 at all. It's wonderful because you make your own schedule, and that's great. And you can work at your best times, and you can take breaks and do all of that stuff. But there's a lot of distractions. I have dogs, and they bark a lot, and they want attention, and they need to go for walks and all that stuff. So there's distractions, but you just kind of have to deal with it. So
Yeah, I just never felt the 9 to 5 was really created for women. What do you think? Is that nuts of me to say?
I never thought about that.
I feel like women are more tuned into the bud and the timing of when and what and more freedom. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't.
Developed for factory workers when it was the Industrial Revolution to get people in and be as productive as possible in the shortest period of time.
Yeah, I just think it's such an old school
Mm.
thing, and I think with the pandemic, I think that we've seen that a lot of places you don't actually need to go in there to go to work. So many people are working from home. So I think that points out a very good point for these places that are like, no, 9 to 5, that's it. It's like, well, maybe not. Maybe that's not the best way. So
Yeah, and I mean I think for me a big feature was, wow, you can be an illustrator from home when there were no jobs like that. I don't think, maybe writers.
mhm.
I'm sure I'm not thinking of everything, but that was a real appeal to me.
Yeah,
It's important. Yeah. And of course the art.
yeah,
Art's cool.
yeah.
Any last questions, people? Um, I the name I can't read. It's in Russian or Greek. Alphabet. What would you advise in order to be more confident at working with color, creating a good color palette? This is a good question for you.
Um, so something that I have been doing lately is grabbing Lilla's blobby color worksheet, and I always fill that out now because it's so good to know which colors you want to have pop in your painting and which colors you want to have be more neutral, more in the background or something like that. But just pay attention to the colors that you like and don't be afraid to use them.
So touched that you like the blobbies. I mean, that's obviously why I make them, hoping that, but to hear that feedback from somebody of your caliber really makes me
Yeah,
feel so
no,
good.
I'm using it on the book that I'm doing right now. Yeah, I use it.
Oh,
Every assignment since I saw it, I was like, this is genius. So yeah.
you know, I love blobs. I love the shape of blobs, and they just are so friendly and welcoming and unintimidating. And I felt like what a great way to make for people to make a color palette rather like draw a graph and fill it in. And also the quantity of color is so important too,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, we've gone way over, which obviously is fine with me. I'm so happy because, hey, man, this has been so great. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
everyone.
much, Tisha. I absolutely enjoyed this so much, and you gave so much good insight to our attendees. So much knowledge about keeping at it, do many versions, look for color palettes in all different places. Really, really just very inspiring, very inspiring.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. So be sure to download your thing. Have I said it too many times now? Download your sale guide, and I will hope to see people, well, in on Monday with the Zoom. No, Margot Zoom. Go see Margot Zoom Monday and be inspired with color and texture and products for her wonderful course we do together, creating collections for home decor, and her other the the little mini one. I wish I had my I'm like lip lip Margot Monday 12 noon ET for home decor. Thank you, British Jenny. Okay, thank you everybody. It was great to be here.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.